What's up, creative gamers? I'm Mark, and welcome to my first video shot in my new game room. We can do a tour of that another time if you're interested, but for now, being stuck down here more so lately than usual has given me an opportunity to really dig into my video game backlog. I'm going to show the dent I've made recently to my backlog, which highlights some awesome hidden gems as well as look at what I plan to tackle next. Let's take a look. Blathers Dictionary defines a gaming backlog as an assortment of games that a gamer intends to play, but he or she hasn't yet played or finished the game for a variety of reasons. When you're a collector like myself, you can easily accumulate games faster than you can play them. Like, I got a copy of Mega Man Zero ZX Legacy Collection on sale with full intent to play them, but am I going to? Who knows? The market for used games has gotten more competitive due to gamers being stuck at home and having more time to play, and prices because of that have gone up, in some cases substantially, which makes collecting of course more difficult. So this is a great time, as good a time as ever, for us to all dive into our video game backlogs. So let's jump in. Shaq Fu. I'm kidding if you haven't left yet, I already played that. I'm a pretty big Mega Man fan, but even I had a hard time getting past the visuals and voice acting of Mega Man Powered Up on the PlayStation Portable. It ended up being totally worth it though. This is an enhanced remake of the original Blue Bomber outing on the NES and adds some really cool features like 2 new Robot Masters, a stage builder well before Mario Maker, difficulty settings, loads of secrets, and best of all, the ability to play the whole game as any of the 8 robot bosses. But these graphics! That's actually better. This has got me interested in expanding my PSP collection. Despite its recently inflated price, I purchased and started Jeanne d'Arc, a turn-based strategy RPG a la Final Fantasy Tactics. See my French there? It's inspired by the story of Joan of Arc, if 15th century France had magic, demons, and they spoke English. The art is by Level 5, who did the wonderful Dragon Quest 8 and 9. If you like Final Fantasy Tactics, this is right up your alley. Next up for me in the Mega Man series is the Wily Wars, which was an exclusive to the obscure Sega channel for many years until recently when it was included on the Sega Genesis mini console. This is a collection of remakes of Mega Man 1, 2, and my personal favorite, 3, souped up with 16-bit graphics and sound. On the topic of Capcom games, I've been on a Resident Evil kick after playing through Resident Evil 2 Remake on PS4. Before it came out, it was probably the game that I wanted to be remade the most, besides Shaq Fu. But whew, let me tell you, this game, particularly Mr. X, had me on the edge of my seat the whole way through. It looks amazing, has loads of content, the police station setting is fantastic, and the puzzle aspect of finding resources to unlock new areas is very compelling. I'm playing the remixed second run now. It inspired me to play through the original Resident Evil 2 on PS1, which I've had in my collection for a while, but honestly I expected it would have aged as well as a fine wine that had already been open for a few years and I never thought I would finish it. Happy to report it exceeded my expectations and was surprisingly accessible for an early 3D game with dreaded tank controls. I watched my cousin play through the Resident Evil 3 remake, which is much more fast-paced but not quite as good as Resident Evil 2. I've started 3 and 0 on PS4, but I really want to play Resident Evil 4, which I have on Wii, just waiting to scare the poop out of me while I waggle my Wiimote around. It's supposed to be one of the best games of all time, but I'm hesitant to commit because it seems to get away from the beloved classic Resident Evil format. Then again, Zelda 2 was a drastic departure and was still awesome, and escort portions are never good in games, right? Since it was just Halloween season, I've been playing a lot more spooky games lately than just the Resident Evil series. I'm a big Castlevania fan, and I just purchased the Castlevania Anniversary Collection on the PS4 for only $8. Castlevania Bloodlines for the Genesis is on there, which I played through for the first time. It was actually a lot better than I expected, with awesome classic Castlevania gameplay and music, and some of the most creative bosses in the series. The thing people don't realize about the Gear Wars is that it was never really about the gears at all. I played the Game Boy Castlevania games on the collection too. Fun to experience them, and thank God for save states, especially on Castlevania The Adventure, because let me tell you, that game is brutal. Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge was much better and brought back sub-weapons like God intended. You can also select stages kinda like Mega Man. Check this one out if you have the opportunity. Speaking of Game Boy, I played Dr. Mario for a while, and I even beat it. I wish I would have been recording because level 20 at high speed is hard as hell. The viruses are tricky to tell apart, and it screams to be in color, so I'd recommend another version of Dr. Mario over the Game Boy. I apparently just enjoy torturing myself. Another spookily pleasant surprise was the re-release of Doom 64. It plays well on Switch, and I cannot imagine going back and playing it on an actual N64 with the murky textures and the dark visuals. It's hard as hell, and the end boss is im-freaking-possible. But I found a trick and got it recorded, so suck it, demons! If you like Doom 1 and 2, you'll enjoy Doom 64. Something else I do want to mention is that a lot of the games out there are long. I'm talking King Long, Cheech and Long, dozens of hours. It's hard to make a dent in your backlog with games like that looming over you. Dragon Quest XI is one of those lengthy games, but it's so good I finished the excellent second act of the game. I do have a video review posted on the channel for Dragon Quest XI that I hope you'll check out, and I'll be making a new video specifically about the second act that'll be out in time for the Definitive Edition release on PS4 and Xbox One on December 4th. It'll be no surprise that my backlog is thick with Dragon Quest games. DQ Heroes 2 is currently underway, but it's going slowly. I found it to be repetitive and overstimulating, like an Avengers movie, but I'm so close I have to finish it. After that will be to continue Dragon Quest Builders 2, which I'm currently about 25% through, and then to start the Super Famicom version of Dragon Quest 3 that only came out in Japan, but I have a translation ready to play on my Retron 5. I've put in plenty of time with Animal Crossing New Horizons as well, and I've finally gotten my island pretty much how I want it, for now. I even made custom NHL jerseys that I shared with my creator ID, and my recent video on New Horizons includes direction on how to upload those jerseys to use yourself. At some point I do intend to go back and work on my museum collection. Maybe. I mean, I've already done the museum for 2 other Animal Crossing games, and how many times can I go and catch the same stupid sea bass? I did finally finish Zelda Twilight Princess HD on the Wii U 4 years after I started it. It's so fun to go back to a game this complicated and try to figure out what the hell you were doing. It's a great game, just another really long one, and my preferred version for it is still the GameCube. Also on the Wii U is Paper Mario Color Splash, that I had barely started a couple of years back, so I decided just to start over. I had a hell of a time figuring out how to do that though. The game doesn't have save slots, and I couldn't find anything in the settings, so what I had to do was go into the Wii U's data storage and delete the game save data there. Dumb. Despite that and its mediocre reviews, this is still my favorite game in the series, and it has a ton of heart and reminds me of Super Mario RPG the most of the Paper Mario series. I'm really enjoying its hilarious script, colorful detailed graphics, and even the battle system using cards on the gamepad, which I guess sort of feels like you're actually playing cards out of your hands. I played the crap out of Star Fox 64 3D on 3DS, which is an awesome remake of the N64 Classic, which is one of my favorite games ever. You don't like my game footage recorded with my cell phone? Well, you can shut up. I promised you hidden gems, and I have mentioned a few, but here are some real treats that I've discovered that I highly recommend. Centipede Infestation on the Nintendo Wii is my definition of a hidden gem. It has fast, tight gameplay inspired by the arcade original, fun power-ups, rockin' music, clever bosses, couch co-op, and is cheap and easy to find. I guess the Wii is the place for hidden gems. I finished No More Heroes and had a blast with it. The ridiculous, hypersexualized story and visual presentation remind me of a Quentin Tarantino movie. The motion controls work surprisingly well, and using them to finish off enemies is oh so satisfying. It does lack polish, and they would have been better off removing the open world portions like they did in the sequel, but the good easily outweighs those critiques. I would love to pick up No More Heroes 2 on Wii as well, but looking on eBay, it goes for over $65 when it used to only be $25. The good news is that it's been remastered on Switch, so I'm going to wait for that to go on sale or for a physical release. I've also got that spin-off Travis Strikes Again on Switch collecting dust, and the third game in the main series should be coming out soon. I don't give Microsoft a lot of attention. Guilty. But Blinx the Time Sweeper for the original Xbox is a unique hidden gem. You play as Blinx the Cat with an objective to defeat all the enemies to unlock the exit for each stage. Blinx has this weapon that reminds me of the Poltergust on Luigi's Mansion, and you find power-ups that manipulate time and the environment in cool ways. Great soundtrack too. Continuing the animal theme with Snake Pass, another hidden gem that's frequently on sale in all the digital shops. It has a ton of charm with Noodle the Snake's reactions, gorgeous environments, and a one-of-a-kind play control that makes you think like a snake. The Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventures on GameCube has been on my list a long time, but it's almost impossible to find all the hardware and players you need. But I got a hold of the Cube, the game, 4 Game Boy Advances, 4 GameCube to GBA link cables, 4 idiots willing to play, myself included, and oh god, it'll be a miracle if I get this set up again so we can finish it. Of course, you can't always play couch co-op, especially in 2020's environment. And although myself, I don't usually play a lot of online games, online gaming has become more important today than ever. For example, I've been casually playing Splatoon. So enjoyable to play a couple matches after work to unwind. The servers are still up actually, and there's still people playing. I finally bought Splatoon 2 and started diving into that. There are some aspects I miss about the Wii U, and I think they should have added more new content in the sequel, but it's still great. Finally, I want to mention Killer Queen Black, which we've been having a blast with. 2 teams of 4 go head-to-head in this fast-paced sequel to the arcade smash hit. What makes it so addicting is that there are multiple ways to win, so you've got to be paying close attention and you've got to have lightning reflexes. God save the Queen! Alright, I've got to stop somewhere, so here are some other games that I've been dabbling with but haven't committed to yet. Either because they haven't been able to pull me in, like Persona Q2 or The Last Guardian, I just haven't started them yet, like God of War and WarioWare Gold, or I got sidetracked and haven't gone back yet, like with Tearaway and Celeste. Not to mention games I played through before, like the second quest on the original Legend of Zelda. I wouldn't be a very good collector if I wasn't always on the lookout for new games to add to my backlog. Here are some games I've been keeping an eye out for. But like I said earlier, used game prices have gone way up. Dragon Quest IV on DS goes for like $70 on eBay, and it wasn't that long ago I saw it for $20. I would love to hear from you in the comments on what games you have in your backlog that you've been working on. And also if you have any tricks to help hold yourself accountable to play those games that you buy. Maybe you don't let yourself buy a new game until you've finished another. Maybe you call in sick to work. Or hire a thug to cut off your big toe if you don't finish a game. I don't know, you tell me. So many games, so little time. As always, thanks for watching. Please join the creative community by following Creative Games on YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. Remember, variety is the spice of life, and we'll see you next time.